Welcome to the Two Guys Show, brought to you by the EdReach Network, giving educators a big voice. This is episode number 22 on February 11th, 2014. I am Drew Minnock. I am one of your hosts. You can find me on Twitter at TechMinnock or on our blog at twoguysandsomeIPads.com. You can also find us on just about any social media network if you search twoguysandsomeIPads.com or TechMinnock. We have an account on all of them. And as always, I have my astute older guest, co-host.
Oh, nice. Hey, everybody, it's Brad Wade. Thanks for joining us tonight on the Two Guys Show through the EdReach Network. We are thrilled to have Tony Vincent with us tonight, and we'll get to him and we'll introduce him in just a moment. He's right there waving at everybody. You can find me on Twitter at TechBradWade. You can also follow us on Instagram at Two Guys Some iPads. You can follow our journeys and see what we're up to. But let's get right down to it. Tony, we'd like to welcome you to the show, and thanks for joining us tonight. How you doing?
Yes, welcome.
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Well, you know, pre-show we were talking about Phoenix and we're talking about Nebraska and stuff, but just so we can catch our viewers up, what's the weather out there like? And then we'll give you our side. What are you dealing with today?
Well, I hate to say it because I know so many people are in the cold, but it's
That's why I brought it up.
Perfectly sunny mid-70s day today, and that's what we'll have tomorrow and the day after that. And I think it's going to get up into 80s the weekend. So.
Oh,
nice.
Wow.
Nice. Drew, what do we have here? What are you looking at?
It was like zero. It was like -5 on my drive to work today. I think it's going to be, I am excited. It's going to be a high of like 40, I heard, next week. So maybe we can lose the 2 foot of snow that we have or lose some of it.
Yeah.
So you don't have your windows open right now?
No windows open right now. That hasn't happened in months. It's like we got the heat cranking. You know, it's just brutal.
Absolutely. So, all right. Well,
So
Tony, let's get to you. For those of you who don't know your story, can you just give us like a quick little 2-minute overview about who you are, what you do, and just stuff like that, so we can get the viewers up to speed before we go into the interview?
Oh, sure. Well, I used to teach 5th grade in Omaha, Nebraska, and of course I used a lot of technology doing that. And then for a couple more years I was my school's technology specialist, so I taught kindergarten through 5th graders and their teachers. And now for the last 7 years I've worked as a consultant, self-employed, and just going anywhere that will have me. I miss having my own classroom, but I get to travel to so many different places and do professional development for teachers, facilitate workshops, speak at conferences, and meet lots of really great people. About 6 years ago I moved to Phoenix from Omaha, so I know what it's like for the cold weather and can appreciate what I have right now here.
I bet. I'm very jealous.
Here in Arizona, I actually do a lot of work here. The kind of things I do, I could live anywhere, so I thought, well, I'm going somewhere warm. And I work with a state agency called the Arizona K-12 Center, and we put on tech camps every summer, and we put on the Mobile Learning Experience conference the last couple of years, and I do some workshops for them too. So there's some really good educators here in Arizona.
Excellent.
That's
all right,
awesome.
well, that's great. Well, hey, can you tell us about your site, Learning in Hand? Can you tell us what's there and what that's all about?
Well, it's my website, so learninginhand.com, and it's been my website for a really long time. It was part of my 5th grade website at first. So my 5th grade website was called Planet 5th, and then in 2001, each of my students got a Palm Pilot. And so we were a 1-to-1 Palm Pilot classroom in 2001.
Palm Pilot. Oh my God. I was there. I remember I still have mine. Interesting. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Blast from the past.
Well, interestingly enough, one of the first schools to have me out, school systems, was Bloomfield Hills.
No way!
They were way out there in Palm Pilots. Like, they were some of the leaders like a dozen years ago.
You know
What?
what?
I did
That
not
was
know
us.
that.
You know that's us, right?
I know that's you. I've been
Oh
to your
my
district.
God.
Yeah.
The funny thing is Drew, you know who was there is Kevin Shallow was there with you, Tony. I was out of town. You know what? I'm not kidding. I should grab my Palm Pilot because we had that, and they were that's amazing. That is a small
Really?
world.
That's
Holy
hilarious. I
cow.
did not know that.
Yeah, yeah. I came in a few years in a row. Michigan was the place to be for Palm Pilots back in the day. So, uh, they always had these
Man.
conferences and things in the winter. So I was always going there in the winter, which.
Yeah,
So you understand what we're going through,
Oh
kind
yeah,
of.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Wow.
So I had part of Planet Fifth. I had a page devoted to like, well, we're using Palm Pilots, and somebody would do a Google search or even a Yahoo search back then, and
Right.
people would find that site and they'd ask all these questions. So I'd add another page about what we were doing, and another page, and then about the apps we were using, and then it kind of got to be kind of its website of its own. We called it Learning in Hand, the section of our class website, but then it became its own website, and then kind of my website a couple of years later. But that's where I've been blogging since then. I put up videos there. I've made some infographics. So it's kind of my home on the web. I don't blog all that often there. I tend to just put my stuff on Twitter and Google Plus quite often.
Right.
Absolutely.
Well, those of you who are joining us, we are with Tony Vincent. And one thing we need to make sure, we may not have mentioned it, join us and use the hashtag 2GuysShow. We're following that hashtag during this live show tonight. So if you have questions for Tony or for us, you want to know something that's going on, something we're not discussing, please use that hashtag and we can bring it on and get you part of the live event going on right now. So, all right, so Tony, we talked about your learning in hand, and we're realizing what a small world this is. It's very cool. Let's get to the app you made. We know you created your own app, and we know you worked with Explain Everything, which, as you know, that's one of our favorites. Drew talks about it all the time.
Yes, it is.
It's so. Tell us about kind of about that process. Talk about Explain Everything, why you went and worked with them, and then kind of how that helped you along creating your own app, and the whole cycle.
Yeah, so I guess it goes back to the Palm Pilot days a little bit in that my class helped design some apps at that time. They are much simpler, and so and we still have some really good apps that I think would make good iPad apps that aren't out there yet. But I kind of knew the process and what it was like to work with people and the kind of people that I want to work with. Not all programmers are dependable or responsive. In fact, I had one game that I developed, or that I had all mapped out, and then I sent out to a few possible developers under an NDA, a non-disclosure agreement, saying, hey, if you would develop this, how much would it cost? And that you can't steal my idea now that you've seen it.
Right.
And so I had one guy, and he's based out of Canada, and he had I paid him half of the cost up front, and app's going to be done in a few months. Well, it turned out to be a year and a half, and there was still no progress on it.
Oh, no.
And something amazing happened that I didn't think would happen. He actually refunded me the money back.
No.
He didn't refund me the year and a half back. But so picking the right development partner I knew was very important because of all those reasons. And so when it came for this app that was actually a lot bigger than this other game app for what became Stick Around, I knew I wanted somebody who already knew the education space and had made an app that maybe my app could be built on top of it, possibly, because sending out ideas and non-disclosure agreements.
Right.
Developers either said there's no way we have time to make something like this, or they said there is absolutely no way you can afford it, because tens of thousands of dollars, and some were double the others, and said this is just a huge undertaking. But I listened to a podcast with Morris Cook, and that's the development studio based in Poland that makes Explain Everything.
Yep.
And I thought, these guys sound pretty cool. So I sent them the non-disclosure agreement and my workup, and they said, we're very excited about this, and we think we can build it on top of Explain Everything. And this was almost 2 years ago, so Explain Everything was really new at that time. But I loved Explain Everything. I liked what it did. I liked these guys, and they decided, or they told me this, we don't want to just have you pay us to make this app. We don't want to be a contractor. We want to be a partner. So because that's the way they've actually done Explain Everything, where they partnered with an educator. And so what happened, it was a brilliant idea. I didn't like it at first, thinking, well, it's my app. I don't want to share it with anybody.
Right.
But these guys care so much. And so it's nice that we split the development costs, and then we'll split the money as it comes back in, if we ever make back the development costs. That's a different story. But
yes.
But they've been great to work with. I just was on a Google Hangout with them today, and they have great ideas, and they want to make it better and better, and they really care, which is so different than somebody if they were just a contractor that said, okay, you've paid us now, here this is, and good luck to you. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I can see where that would be very difficult. They've got more than just Explain Everything. Another one that I really like of theirs is Explain a Website, which you wouldn't think is that much different, but that you can just type in the website and then just do like the screencast right over top of it for just simple tutorials for parents on how to sign up on a website. I did a tutorial for 3Ring on how to sign up on 3Ring using Explain a Website. And I think that one's a little bit newer, I believe, and I think that one's just as cool as Explain Everything.
It is. Well, you can do that same thing and Explain Everything. They just kind of simplified it so that, and I think it's a little bit cheaper too, like $1 or something.
Yeah, it is. It's 99 cents, and I didn't know you could do that and Explain Everything.
Yeah, you can bring in a website, you can bring in video, and Explain Everything. It's been fun to watch the evolution there, because I've met with these guys every couple weeks for the last 2 years, so I get an update on all the things they're doing, and they just have these great, just constantly wanting to get better and better. They listen to every piece of feedback, and they even have somebody sitting pretty much 24 hours a day at a computer ready to answer any email that comes in. So I don't know if you've ever had to email them about Explain Everything, but it's so nice. Like they take care of you right away. They take a lot of pride in that, and they just love teachers. So
I think that's important. Just the feedback in general. Have you heard a lot of feedback from educators on your app and kind of how they're using it? Some good things, some negative things, or anything like that?
Yeah. Well, let me tell you what Stick Around does, and then and tell you about that part. So I was working with teachers so often, and they're like, well, Tony, do you have an app that does this? Do you have an app that does that? And I kept listening to this.
App that does everything.
And the idea kind of started coming together. The best apps are ones that you can customize. You can bring in your own content, make it just for your students, or better yet, the students are the ones that bring the content in and interact with it and make something. So some, from first grade teachers saying, well, we want an app for sight words, but we want just the sight words that we've worked on so far. Or to the teachers, well, we want to make a skeleton labeling. We want a skeleton labeling app, but we don't talk about all those bones yet that this app has. So the idea started coming together that you could make these sticker puzzles, and so we called it Stick Around, where you draw a background or import a background, and then you drag stickers that can either have arrows or just label something, or maybe the background indicates where they should go, and make that into a game. So then once you have the stickers on it, then you make an answer key, which is you kind of lock the stickers in place, or you draw the possible places where that sticker could go. And then like some apps have it so you can make something on that one iPad, but then it only lives on that iPad. And
yes, device specific.
Yeah, so we wanted to make sure, and Morris Cook is great about this and Explain Everything, is that you can share it at least through Dropbox and Google Drive, and we have WebDAV, and then you can open in and open it in any app to save it and share it. So you can actually get it off there and put it on a class set of iPads if you wanted to.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we know we definitely live in the world where the device-specific creation is definitely a problem with dealing with Erasmus, and I mean we've tried to find ways around it, and we kind of have, but not the way that we would obviously like to. That's for sure. So, but that is very important that you can be able to share those things, either Dropbox, Google Drive, but especially Google Drive. Nowadays, it seems like a lot of people are going to Google Apps for education, so that's awesome.
Yep.
Yeah, so you can start a project on one iPad, and a student can then just log into their Google Drive, save it there, and they can continue it on another iPad if they need to. Just like Explain Everything allows you to do now.
Think about that. Since we've been doing this for a while, think about it wasn't that long ago we were looking for that kind of solution, where we could all kind of share I mean, we could email documents to each other, but we couldn't like go in and watch and edit and collaborate now like we can. I mean, and I know a lot of people are getting on board now, but I'm not sure a lot of people really understand how powerful of an idea that is. If you've been around for a few years and doing things like that, you understand.
We know you have, Brad.
Oh, you know what, Drew? Do you have to shave yet? I can't tell yet. It's hard to tell. You know what somebody said to me today, Drew? We were in a meeting today. You went and answered the phone. You know what somebody asked me? How old is that guy? 15? It was hilarious. So, anyways, I will get back to my old, referencing how old I am apparently. Well, the thing is, seriously, Google Drive, and there's a lot of things that Google's doing, a lot of good apps. It's really, we talk about things that are game-changing apps and game-changing things in education that transform what we do. Things that you're talking about, Tony, and using it in sync with Google Drive. I mean, it was not that long ago we had these things that we wanted to do, but we still had a complicated process. Things were cumbersome. We as teachers were creative and we could get around that, but now it's so much easier. Those steps don't hamper the learning. It's a lot more fluid. We can just move on, and ultimately what we want is the learning to be deeper, and making things more seamless, like your app just is changing things, and it's a great thing to see.
Yeah. And then I guess going back to the question from before, and that is what kind of reception have I got from teachers, and it's been great. We have a Pinterest board, Pinterest.com/stickaroundapp, where I've been posting anytime somebody mentions a puzzle they share on Twitter or anywhere else. And it's getting to be an impressive library, though I think pretty much all of them there are by teachers, and I'm more excited about students making the puzzles. My little catchphrase is, when students make their own study aids, it only aids in their own studying. So.
Oh, nice.
Nice, I like it.
Very well done.
Yeah.
I like it.
And when they make study aids for others in the class too, I think that's pretty powerful. So, we've had examples of labeling a microscope, matching vocabulary words. Your stickers can be pictures, or they can be drawings, or they can be words. So you can mix and match those. So even the youngest students could be matching pictures together, all the way to there are some college classes that I know I could have made my own stick around puzzle, and maybe by the time you make the puzzle, you already know it and you don't have to play the puzzle, but it's the process of putting one together that is actually the learning piece.
Absolutely, and so you just answered my next question. So it really is. Any students of all ages and all grades can use this, from lower L, kindergarten, all the way up through high school and college, and in those areas, if we can find the right way to apply it, it sounds like it's something that can be used by every student. Correct?
Yeah. Oh yeah, and then the personalization part I love. Even for little kids, you could have a picture of your own kitchen, and then label what's in the kitchen. And the labels can even have, we've made it so you can have audio on each sticker. So each sticker can have a play button, and you can hear whatever the puzzle creator had written. Or it can even open up a website to give you more information. So again, we just wanted a nice flexible tool where hopefully teachers and students can make some things we never even had dreamt of yet inside there.
And I'm sure that will definitely happen. That's exciting to just kind of see that the whole process, and I'm sure it sounds like it's been quite the process, 2 years work going back and forth.
It has been, and then iOS 7 came out in between, so we changed the look of it, and we're just constantly evolving over time, and at one point we said, we could just spend all of our time working on this and never release it. Like, it just always be a work in progress.
Right?
Like, we have to release it at some point. One more thing I'll say about it, and this has been interesting because I think I was as an educator, I was on the other side, and that's that some educators don't understand why it's a paid app. They're really disappointed that it's not free, and I hear them definitely. We talked before the show about how hard it is to purchase an app sometimes, not necessarily because of the expense, but because of the paperwork and the hoops to jump through.
Yes.
If you're in the VPP program, most apps are half off, so it's not a huge expense. But I do get emails sometimes saying, well, how do you expect students to buy this? It's just unaffordable and I guess I always feel bad for them, but at the same time, I know how much time and how much money that both I and Morris Cook have put into it. And I thought, oh, if you could only know, that I put my savings into this app, and we just can't give it away for free. I'm sorry, I would love to, but it's just
it's funny to think about, because as everyone knows me, I'm a huge 5-Hour Energy fan, right? So I can go buy a 5-Hour Energy and it's like $3 every time I drink it, and I do not think twice about buying a 5-Hour Energy. I actually look forward to it. That's how much I like 5-Hour Energies, right? Yeah. So paying, and it's gone in a half a day. But then I buy $2.99 app, and I have it forever, constantly updated with every update you have. And people have a problem with that, and I really don't understand it, because it's like you can literally go buy a drink at happy hour or a Happy Meal or something that is gone so quick, yet something you'll have forever and can be such a powerful tool for learning. They have such a problem with paying that $2.99. I think that's, that it's kind of funny if you think about it, and we always joke about it, Brad, about how, we're kind of the same way, when it comes to buying apps. It's kind of like, well, if it's $5, it better change the world, Well, yeah, no, it's so crazy, but I don't get it.
It's true, though. Like, the thing is like, we're overrun now with things that are free right now, and so we're always looking for that. And Drew, Tony, it's true. Drew and I always said, $2.99, it better be great, and we'll take a chance, but we're also looking to see what people are saying about it. How can we use it? And that's why if it goes up on our site, we've used it and we'll stand behind it. So it's like, the cost kind of is to the side. If you get people saying good things about it, I'm all in. If it's $5 but it's great, I'm all in, and I know I can use it, great. There's a million crappy apps that are free. I don't want to mess with those. I'd rather get a good one than I have to pay for. So
That is so true. Very true. So Tony, you were very early on in the podcasting game and whatnot. We're very early. Been doing it a lot shorter time, I should say. You were doing it long before us. How has it kind of changed over the years?
Well, I think it's maybe gotten easier.
Yeah, I would probably.
Yeah, I'm sure it has.
I started podcasts before podcasts were inside of iTunes. So I guess if you look up Wikipedia, podcasting was invented in September of 2004. Was like the very first podcast, and then my first podcast from my elementary school came out on Valentine's Day 2005.
Wow!
I remember that day because it was Valentine's Day, because it was my first year out of the classroom and being a technology specialist, and the Valentine parties were all happening, and I'm like, I don't have to meet with any classes, like and no teachers coming in to bother me. I can actually sit down and figure out what this RSS thing is and get it published. But our podcast was, I kind of had this idea of going audio only, and in the early days, podcasts mostly, they were almost all just audio. And excuse me. And we were doing this live video cast within our school, and it took the teachers forever to prepare. They had to make backdrops, and they had to care what the kids wore, and it was a big production. And I thought, GarageBand was kind of new, and if we could do audio, and if they make a mistake, we can just cut to where that mistake was. It doesn't matter what they're wearing. And we had a lot of success. I think the students learned almost just as much from doing something that was just audio compared to the big video production. So we started Radio Willow Web, which is the worst name you can call an elementary podcast if you'd like the kids to actually be able to say it. like a tongue twister to them. So every episode, it's really fun to hear them say, Radio Willowweb.
Awesome.
We called it that because I didn't know if the word podcast was actually going to stick around or not.
Right.
So we have a kid would be the host, and it was all kid voices on here, and then other kids would have segments that were all about a topic. So talking about space, or about our city of Omaha, or about energy. And they were about 10 minutes long. They were cute. They usually had jokes in there, and we had music that GarageBand could put in. And one of my favorite things ever was when Apple released the new version of iTunes that included podcasting at an ISTE. And it was like the room was crowded. I couldn't be in there, but they showed Radio Willowweb, and then on the floor when Apple used to present at ISTE, like they had my podcast up there because there were only like 2 podcasts in the K-12 education.
That's awesome.
At that time.
Oh my God, crazy.
So we got lots of listeners, and we got lots of people saying, "Hey, how'd you do this?" And it was fun. And for my kids, it was a big deal. Like if you were a host of Radio Willowweb, you were a celebrity, and they took it very seriously. So every episode sounds great because it was a big deal.
That's awesome. I bet that was a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun. It really was. And so then I thought, well, the kids are podcasting. I should probably have my own. Kind of the Palm Pilot guy. I guess I should have a Palm Pilot podcast. But at that time, podcasts were just one guy talking into his iPod and then uploading it somewhere. And I thought, I can't just talk just me. I've got to have somebody else. So Mike Curtis, who's in Michigan, we co-hosted for about a year. We'd Skype, and then it took like an hour to figure out how to record the Skype because it was so messy. And you had to have microphone. It was just usually a disaster. But the episodes were great when we got them done. But just setting up the recording wasn't fun. And now I just kind of think, now you can, what you guys are doing, click record, and or even better, because my schedule, I just can't do a regular podcast anymore. So I do a video podcast now where I get out my green screen and make it a big production, but I only do like one of those a year.
Nice.
Otherwise, the easiest way to podcast is just to be a guest on somebody else's. So
there you go. Well, we're super
really
happy to have you, let me tell you.
Yeah, we specialize in that, and we're glad you're joining us tonight. For those of you just joining us on the EdReach Network on the Two Guys Show, we are joined by Tony Vincent, who is with us talking about his app, his website, and all the things that he does. So let's continue on. Let's see. So we talked about your app and the podcasting. Tony, what do you have going on as far as like, where are you going to in the near future? You going to any conferences? You going to any school districts? What's on your calendar right now?
Yeah, well, I just came from Jacksonville, Florida last week and spoke to, actually, it was a hands-on workshop, and surprise, there were 280 people in a hands-on workshop.
We know the feeling. We ran into the same problem a couple weeks ago in Ohio, and it was like, hands-on workshop, 140 people with 100 seats. We're like, with no Wi-Fi, because the Wi-Fi wouldn't work.
Oh, yeah, no Wi-Fi too. But I planned for that, so we were still able to do some hands-on stuff without the Wi-Fi and all that. And it was actually for parents and clinicians and teachers of kids with autism. And they really liked what they saw with the iPad and the kinds of things it can do for their students.
That's awesome.
And then just on Saturday, I drove to Flagstaff, which is just a 2-hour drive from where I live. There's snow. Woo! It was below freezing. It's just funny. You drive 2 hours in the mountains, and that's what you get. And
crazy.
Did a
I'd stay out of the
project-based learning and iPads workshop there. And now this week is my fun week because I get to plan for things that are coming up. I have the best job now where I just get to play, research, and all that stuff while I wait for the next event. But then after that, there's the conference I've never been to before called Reading for the Love of It. It's in Toronto, Canada. And
that sounds awesome.
Yeah, it's actually really big. It's been going on for years, and I'm excited because Canada is actually a country I have never been to before, and I know it's really close to you guys, but but haven't been there. And if I run into their mayor, that would be really fun too.
Be careful with that guy.
Nice.
He's kind of crazy, just a little.
And then
when is that?
That is. Now I got to pull up my calendar because I don't know dates. The 20th and 21st.
Of this month?
Yep. And then I think there's still room if you happen to be in New York near Buffalo. There's the Digital Wave Conference on the 3rd of March, which looks to be a pretty neat conference too, and I get to keynote that one.
All right.
Pretty fun.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very cool.
That's very exciting. Very cool. So let's start heading on to the other segments of our show. Why don't we go ahead and start with the Twitter shout-outs as we kind of move along here. And Tony, as our special guest, we'll go ahead and let you give your 3 special Twitter shout-outs.
All right. Well, my first one is to Felix Giacomino. That's at Felix Giacomino. He's a tech director at St. Stephen's Episcopal Day School in Miami, and they have one-to-one iPads for 1st through 5th graders, and at the same time they implemented project-based learning, and they have me out every year to work with students and staff, and then they're doing so much great stuff at their school that they thought, well, we should have a conference. So they are having a mobile learning event in November called Miami Device.
Oh, yeah, we're well aware. It seems like all of our friends are going to be there in Miami in November.
Yeah, we're one of the few that are not going to be there at the moment.
Oh, but well, you still got time to figure out how to get there.
That's true.
It's a ways off. But it'll be a fun conference, and that school is awesome, and so just to see what they're doing there is great, and then the fact that there's a whole learning event around it is neat too.
Yeah, awesome.
Let's see, my other shout out is to Mr. Will with 1L Baker. He's a year 5 teacher in the UK, and I think he was my Follow Friday. I do a Follow Friday on Twitter every Friday, and he has a website called Year 5 Boom, and that's his class blog, and he started using Stick Around, and so I thought that was pretty neat, and he has some ideas on his website for that.
Very cool.
And then
yep, another one.
my third one, you get 3?
Oh, yeah, you get 3. Or if you're Brad, you get 9.
Yeah,
9.
exactly. I stretch them, but yeah, keep going. That's good. We want to hear who you got.
Sean Junkins, S. Junkins on Twitter. He
That guy is a
just puts
trip.
out brilliant stuff, and this week he had a video about what can you do with an iPad, and it's this montage, and then you can see examples of each thing he talks about, making comics and videos and PSAs, and that's pretty neat. And then he had tweeted this kind of recently. He made this like 1-page sheet that has a picture of a tree. And did you guys see this by chance? It has a picture of a tree, and it says, "I wasn't made to be a worksheet." And then underneath is a picture of an iPad, and it says, "And neither was I."
Nice.
Nice. I feel like 50 to 75% of his tweets, they just make me laugh. They're like great one-liners.
Yep.
I mean, he really is classic. He's hilarious, and I really hope to meet him at some point this year.
Awesome.
Isty's kind of in his neck of the woods, and I imagine he'll be there. He was there last year, so some people start tweeting him. Tell him we need to meet at some point this year. That's for sure.
Yeah, we were chatting with Sean, when all the EduBlog awards were coming out, because a lot, we're all nominated in different categories and stuff. So we were chatting with him a little bit when all that was going on. So yeah, shout out to Sean Jenkins out in the Carolinas. So hopefully we can.
South Carolina, I believe. He's over there by the ocean somewhere.
Yeah.
A lot warmer than it is here.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. So tweeted him, another person we want to connect with down at ISTE in the summertime. So. All right, so Drew, good list there, Tony. Drew, what do you have tonight? You got any, or are you just skipping that segment tonight?
Oh yes, I'm going to throw out some shout outs. Mine are a couple that are just from this afternoon. Thanks to our good friend Brad Gustafson, who is doing an awesome job of spreading the word about augmented reality.
Yep.
Former guest of the show, man, would I love to work at his school. What a great leader and an inspiration to so many people. And he had a couple people tweet him. They were so geeked because they created their first Aura
Yeah.
using Rasma, and that is a couple of principals that tweeted it out too.
That
So
was
it's
awesome.
Principal Sharon, Sharon, and then at Principal French, I think it's Matt French. They both created their first auras thanks to help from Brad Gustafson out in Minnesota there, and that is just, we love seeing that. You know, Brad, that's just, it makes our day, absolutely makes our day when we get to see things like that, and get people creating using Erasma and just diving in and showing the power of it. And then the last one, this one might surprise you. It is an egg, Brad.
An egg. Oh,
an egg.
All right.
This is an egg, so
It's
don't be alarmed.
It's an actual egg, isn't it?
No, it's like the Twitter egg. They don't have a picture.
All right.
Never tweeted before, but don't be alarmed, everybody. There's no spam involved. I'll promise you that. But definitely giving a shout out to my lovely girlfriend for putting up with me and constantly letting me do shows like this and hang out with horrible people like Brad.
Oh, man.
So her Twitter handle is at MEGGANN. So definitely blow up her Twitter, and it will be really funny.
Hi, Megan. Nice to see you. Thanks for letting Drew play tonight. I know I steal him from you sometimes, but you know he doesn't even like me that much. So you're safe. Sorry.
Oh, that's the wrong Twitter handle. I just even tweeted out.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah.
You know what? We don't have a dump button, Drew. We can't go back 7
I'll tell you what. Epic fails on a couple of these, huh?
Oh my God! You know I've already been.
MAGG 3 N's, not 2.
Oh my God!
NNN.
Megan, I knew your handle. I'm sorry, Drew didn't. Sorry. It's
Yep.
I should have made sure he was all prepared, but that's
That's a typo.
So, is that your third one? Because there's so many funny things going on right now.
Yes.
Okay, so as I'm following, I don't know. I think Tony's frozen. I'm not sure. He looks like Han Solo.
No, he's right there.
No, he's not. He's frozen. Oh, oh, you were frozen in my lower third. Okay,
That's just you, Brad. I think you're frozen.
I thought he was pulling a Han Solo from Empire Strikes Back. So, sorry. But,
Oh my gosh.
Oh, there is so many funny things going on the Twitter hashtag right now. The hashtag 2Guys Show. I was just called out about not messing up the handles tonight because I had an epic fail, and then you had a fail just now.
Yeah, it's just epic fail after epic fail. We're used to it.
So funny. Brian Schuster just pops on. He says, just found the hashtag for 2Guys Show. I was still following hashtag blame Drew, which is awesome. Awesome. That is classic tonight. Oh, my God. We have had so much fun with so many hashtags. Don't forget, hashtag blame Drew, hashtag Drew loves Pokemon. I haven't seen a lot of Pokemon tweets lately, so we gotta hit Tech Manak up with some Pokemon tweets. Colts, I know you can get on it. Paul, I know Paul's out there. Craig, tons of people. We got some first timers tonight too. Brittany, she just raked me over the coals about Twitter handles. But anyways,
good.
All right. So now that I'll get to my Twitter handles now, since all those were just show announcements. See how I do that? It's great. All right. So one. I've got to shout out Marcy, my secretary. She does a good job keeping the schedules taken care of. She gets in contact with people for me. She does a great job in the office. But if you're not following, you should follow her because she's quite a trip. I appreciate it. So thank you, Marcy. She is at Brad's secretary. You can follow her. Give her a shout out. She'll be really happy tonight. I can't guarantee what she replied. She's a little flighty, but that's okay. She's awesome. So we love Marcy. So thank you, Marcy. Evan Scheer, we've talked about him tons. He's a friend of the show. He's been on the show. I was going to give him a shout out, but he body slammed us at about 9 o'clock because we went on at 9:01. So at Evan Scheer, used to be Shareology. I'm not going to shout him out even though I just gave his name. So we'll stop there.
Good.
So there we go. And then, but this is a cool story. Andy McNair, teacher. This was really cool. She hit me up on Twitter, DM, and then she emailed me the other day. She's teaching. She's working with some gifted and talented students at the elementary level, and they all have class projects. And these two students wanted to talk. We're talking about technology and learning, and part of their job responsibilities is going back and talking to the teachers in the building. Well, they got the idea. They want to know about augmented reality, and then they wanted to get some. First, they wanted to find out what it was, and they wanted to get some real-world examples, not only in education but in the real world. So I did a GHO with them last week. I won't say their names in case I'm not supposed to, but they were two, a young boy and a young girl. They did an amazing job, and I got to chat with Andy, and I'm going to continue checking in on their progress, and we had a great time. I answered all their questions, and we did some demos, and now they're working on the project to go share back with teachers. So Andy McNair is the teacher. You can follow her on Twitter at McNairan3. So that's McNairan3. So she's going to be, other than the people who are watching, we gave a lot of shout outs to, I just moved my screen, but that's okay. So that's my PLN shout outs. I think that was only 3, if I'm not mistaken. I think I was pretty good tonight.
Yeah, not bad. I'm proud of you.
Thanks. So, all right, so Tony, not going to lie, this is one of the most popular segments of the show. We have T-shirts made up. We're getting two guys swag. I think Drew's wearing some right now. You got some swag on, Drew?
There it is.
Thank you. We also want to thank Nike for sponsoring the Two Guys Show. You can see we have the hat, we have the quarter zip, we have some golf shirts that are coming on and stuff like that. So thank you to Nike for sponsoring the show, and we're going to get some more gear for the Two Guys. So, all right, so here we go with our playlist. What's on your playlist? Hashtag what's on your playlist. Let's hear what, Tony, let's let you go first, because I know you're as excited as we are about this segment of the show.
Oh yeah, this is the part I've been sweating because so I don't remember the last time I went into an actual playlist because since iTunes Radio has come along, I'd rather just have somebody else just put it together for me and play it. So
there you go.
So iTunes Radio. Let's see, the stations I have bookmarked are the DJ at iTunes Pop Hits. That's a really popular one in my household. It gets played a lot during the day, and my favorite part is, so I have twins, a boy and a girl, and they are 14 months old, and they have certain songs that they stop what they're doing when they hear it, and they just start dancing.
That's awesome.
They're little baby dances, and sometimes they have to go up to a ledge so they can shake their booties a little more. It is so cute. Someday I'm going to actually get a really good video of it, and everybody on YouTube can see it.
Yes.
It'll go viral. But they love anytime Katy Perry comes on, and they're Lady Gaga and Applause. They have to drop what they're doing, stop putting together the puzzle, and they have to go and dance.
Perfect.
Awesome.
Okay, am I up next, or do you have any more, Tony?
Any more, Tony?
No.
All right, that was great stuff. We can't wait to see your twins dancing to some good music.
Yeah, that's hilarious. My nieces are the same way. It's like a couple songs. You put them on, and it's just like game over. Just start dancing, drop everything they're doing. It's like hypnotizes them. It's hilarious.
Yeah, when they hear Juicy J singing with Katy Perry, they...
Juicy J, that's right. Dark Horse right there. Nice.
Yeah,
that's right.
That's why they're absolute
well
favorite.
Done. Well
and they
done.
play it a lot on Pure Pop iTunes Radio.
Okay.
Pretty much you press play, you're going to hear that song.
App sounds like satellite. Very cool.
All right, so I'm going to start my first one. And everybody knows I'm not as good at this segment as Brad. So I reached out. I listen to a lot of sports talk radio or, whatever. So I reached out to Megan tonight, and I said, I need some songs for the playlist. So we went with, and this is another one of our good friend Tech Ninja Todd's favorite songs, by Lorde. Team is a good song. And then the next one is going to be by the Lumineers. This is actually one of my choices. I like this song. Stubborn Love by Lumineers. Brad, do you know that song?
I do.
That's a good song.
That is a good song. Good call there. That's a good one.
Yeah, that's a little bit older, but I enjoy it. And then the last one is by Megan. It's Modest Mouse, Float On. If you don't know that one. That one's a little bit older as well, but those are my three. So Lord with Team, Modest Mouse with Float On, and then the Lumineers, Stubborn Love.
Oh, I couldn't have timed this any better. Okay, so I do have my songs, and then I've got a huge shout out. But it's funny because Paul kind of like threw this one up to me like a big watermelon I'm going to hit with the baseball bat. And by the way, Paul, I know you're watching. I saw one of the tweets you did. I think I read that wrong because I wasn't saying first-time viewer to you because you're a long-time viewer. I was shouting you out and recognized some of the new viewers. But Paul, this was great. And I'll read his tweet in just a second. Before I read his tweet, I'll get to my traditional playset. All right, I've got two that. Oh my God, I had my phone on random playlist, and I got two songs that, man, I hadn't really listened to since this summer, and I heard them, and I was just, you know me, Drew. You know how I like to move around and dance, and I'm singing and driving and all that. I know you've talked about on the show, but it's true. First one is Boomerang by the Somerset. So somebody who's on Twitter right now, if they can tweet that out for me, because I don't do it as fast as Drew. He's about 2 years younger than me, so he's a little faster with tweeting and podcasting at the same time and Google hanging out. And he's probably sending out mass tweets right now while he's programming code on one of his 6 iPads. And he also has some, Buzz Lightyear watch. He's probably going to be zapped away in a minute, something like that. But anyways, so I'll give that up to him. So if somebody can tweet out that Boomerang by the Somerset, that would be great. Song number 2, this is Love Like Woe by the Ready Set, not to be confused by the Somerset or the Mall Somerset. So Love Like Woe by the Ready Set, another great song. And then this one's a newer one, and I think I talked about it a few weeks ago when we had our superintendent on. Talk Dirty by Jason Derulo and 2 Chainz. I still can't get enough of that. It is such a fun song. I love it. It's got some really funny lines, some great lines, but it's just, I love it when they shout 2 Chainz when he drops in. It's really cool. So that's awesome. Those are my songs. Now, this is a special edition song shout out to the Paul just emailed or tweeted this and said, "Hey, have you downloaded the newest Project Dirty album, Blue Fire?" Yes, Paul, I have. Project Dirty, friends of the show, great guys, Micah and Rhett out in LA, absolutely phenomenal guys. We chat with them quite often. Their new album just dropped at midnight last night. It is called Blue Fire. You can find it on iTunes. They are following up the smash hit Skywalker with some other great music, and you got to check it out. So that's Blue Fire by Project Dirty on iTunes. So shout out to the boys. You can find them at Project Dirty. Go look at my feed, probably on Drew's feed as well. They're all around. So shout out to them and congrats on their second album. It's some excellent stuff. So highly recommended. So
yes, it is. One more shout out. I'm gonna be a Brad here and give one more shout out here to Zintia is a company who is creating some new educational augmented reality apps. And Brad, you and I have played with them a little bit. The chemistry one is awesome.
You know what? Yeah.
They're coming out with a geometry one. If you, I'm gonna tweet out the video link here in a minute. That is awesome. And then anatomy, and they have got some really cool augmented reality apps coming out for just about every platform you can think of. So definitely check them out.
Drew, that's great. I'm glad you said that because I'm gonna make this statement right here. Drew and I being in the industry of augmented reality, all different all different paths, not just education, but all different areas. In the education, we've seen a lot of cool stuff. Right now, and I think Drew will back me on this because I haven't really said this to him clearly, but it seems like right now we're just starting to see that next level in augmented reality in education. We've seen a lot of really cool stuff, but it's kind of been like, wow, here is the first level of augmented reality. We are now starting to see the second level of, because like I said this the other day to Drew and some other people, I said, we see a lot of augmented reality in education, but when we see something that we go, Wow, now that is really cool. You know, someone's taken it up a notch. The way that either the kids interact with it or what they're asking you to accomplish and how they're asking you to interact. Because augmented reality, you know, it's using, you know, it's all about the user's experience, which are, you know, the students in our case. And
Yep.
you know, with the one that Drew just, we literally were in Ohio working at OETC. Shout out to them. And Drew, I believe it was that morning you got it from them, the beta
That's
version.
right.
That morning. So even Ryan was there. Even when we had crowds and we were talking, Drew was still trying to get everything finalized and uploaded to one of the devices because we had the targets already printed out. And the early returns is that, seriously, everybody, the next level of augmented reality in education is coming, and that's just absolutely fantastic. So thrilled to see that. We will keep you posted as we get these, and we review them, and we put them up on the blog and do videos and start sharing with everybody through social media. Stay tuned with that. And Drew, that was a great thing to bring up.
Yeah, I wanted to shout them out real quick because they're doing some pretty cool stuff.
How do you spell that, Drew? Terry
I
just
tweeted it out. Zientia.
Yeah, absolutely, really cool stuff, which is great. So it's good to see.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, anything else, Tony? Thank you for joining us tonight. Is there anything that we may have missed? We got so excited about all the things we were talking. Is there anything that we missed tonight that maybe you can drop on us?
Well, I guess I could tell you about one of the most popular things I've made. It's about a year old now, but it is an infographic. Well, I guess I'm told it may not qualify as an infographic because it's not about data, and there's a big whole thing about what you should call it. It's a visualization. You can call it maybe an infographic if you don't have a narrow term of what an infographic is.
Right.
For really teachers who just have one iPad in their classroom.
Mm-hmm.
So it's called iPad as the Teacher's Pet, and that's on my website at learninginhand.com/pet, and it's a monster. And I didn't intend for anybody to print it out. You know, most infographics, you kind of just you look at it, you enjoy it.
Yep.
But if you scroll down on that post at learninginhand.com/pet, I've embedded some tweets of people who actually printed it. And it is 2 stories tall.
What? No way.
Wow.
Really long. You have to have those big, like industrial printers.
No way.
Wow.
But yeah, if you scroll down and you pass the document, you'll see on that page there's even Felix Giacomino having it off
That is awesome.
the balcony. But I'm in the process of starting to update that because, of course, Stick Around is not on it, and I think
it has to be.
Place for it. So if anybody has some ideas about, if you just have one iPad, what really works on there? Classroom management apps. There's a section on there about showing your iPad on a screen and mirroring it, and the different choices for that, and ways to interact with your class. Again, if you just really have one iPad there. So send me your ideas through Twitter or email me, or just take a look and see what's there, because it took me a long time to make. Actually, I started working on it before my twins were born.
Wow.
For some reason, I put it off for a little bit,
Right.
and finally got back to it.
Crazy.
Wow.
That is awesome. 2 stories long. That's impressive.
Yeah, that's pretty insane. So Tony, before we let you go and start signing off, why don't you give us your contact information? How can people get a hold of you, and where can they go to get more information about you?
Well, learninginhand.com, and there's a link at the top and the bottom for emailing me. That's usually a little better than Twitter. Sometimes Twitter messages fall through the cracks, and it's hard to reply and all that. So I prefer email if you'd like to email me, and that's definitely on my site, learninginhand.com. But I'm on Pinterest at Tony Vincent, and on Facebook, Learning in Hand. And I was back to Pinterest. That's where I've decided that's where I'm going to keep my apps that I find that I like. So if you look at my Pinterest boards, I have a math board and a language arts board and a mobile movie making board. It just seemed like that's kind of a nice visual place to keep the apps I come across that I think others might like.
And it's just Tony Vincent on Pinterest?
Yeah.
All right. Awesome.
All right, so Drew, where can they find you? Let's start signing out with you.
Yeah, you can find me at our blog, as always, at twoguysandsomeIPads.com or on Twitter at TechMinoc. Head on over to our blog if you have any questions about augmented reality, creating things. We've got lots of tutorials and information on there. You can head on over to Facebook and give us a like. Just search for Two Guys and Some iPads. Pinterest, you can find us, Scoop It, EduClipper. Just about any social media website you can find us on. So thank you, everyone, for joining us tonight. And definitely head on over to iTunes and subscribe to our podcast and leave a comment. If you like what we're doing. If you don't really like what we're doing, then don't leave a comment.
Absolutely. And thank you, Drew, for all of that. Drew handles all 47 social medias except for Instagram, which I handle. And if you follow it, you know that's me because
selfie videos.
Exactly, selfie videos. And Drew, I don't know, did we ever upload the swimming in Orlando when it was 48 degrees?
I don't know if we did.
So so people thought I was crazy, but Drew, you know how much I love swimming in hotels, right?
Yep, we do.
Everywhere we go, I like to swim in the hotels. So I didn't want to break the streak. It was 48 degrees and rainy, but you know what?
We dove in anyway.
It was like 60 degrees warmer than where I just came from, so it was all good. So went down and went swimming. It's true. It was like 20 below, something like that.
I know.
All right, so thank you for joining us on the EdReach Network, giving educators a big voice. We were joined by Tony Vincent on the Two Guys Show in the month of February. You can find me on Twitter at TechBradWade. You can get me on email, on Gmail, techbradwade@gmail.com. I talked to you about Instagram. And just want to give a huge shout out to everybody following us tonight. It was a great Twitter chat. Everybody was around. Thank you for joining us. We are honored that you're with us. We love having you in our PLN. You can follow us on the Two Guys Show, or you can follow us both individually on Twitter. So thank you, Tony. Thank you, Drew. It was a great episode tonight, and we will catch back with you next week when we have Marty Katz from Magic School Bus and a lot of cool things. You do not want to miss this cat. He is crazy awesome. You're going to love this guy. He's got more in he might even put me to shame. So I mean, it's like
I might not shave for a week just so I don't have to hear grief about it.
That is the best part. Thankfully, this guy he backs me up. Marty is awesome. He gives Drew twice as much as I can, and it's classic. So that's where I got the shaving bit for Drew. So thank you for joining us, everybody, on the Two Guys Show. Have a great week and stay connected, my friends.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye, everyone.